Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself standing at the edge of a dimly lit corridor within your own psyche. The walls are not made of stone. They are made of memories, impulses, shadows, and long-forgotten emotions. And at the end of this corridor stands a door, an ordinary door, wooden, quiet, almost unimpressive. Yet you hesitate. Something in you says, "Do not go closer." This hesitation, Carl Jung would say, is the moment of truth. For whenever Jung spoke about fear, he insisted that fear never appears by accident. It arrives as a symbol, an archetype, a messenger from the deeper layers of the unconscious. And in that sense, every fear, as Jung once put it in his lectures on the unconscious, is a psychic event attempting to reveal something we have refused to see. What makes this astonishing is that most of us treat fear as a prison, an invisible wall locking us inside our habitual patterns. But Jung repeatedly reminded his students, especially in his seminars on dream analysis, that nothing in the psyche imprisons you unless you collaborate with it. The shadow is not a jailer, it is a guide disguised in the only language you have not yet learned to read. Fear is simply the shadow's knock on the door. And if you dare to open it, Jung said, you do not become more frightened, you become more whole. He discovered this truth while confronting his own inner images during his Red Book period. When terrifying figures appeared before him, serpents, spirits, ancestral energies, he did not run. He did what almost no modern person does. He turned toward them and asked, "What is it that you want from me?" This question, he said, is the turning point at which fear stops being a prison and becomes a doorway. We forget that fear is alive. It shows up at the precise moment we are closest to a revelation about ourselves. Jung observed that people often encounter their deepest fear right before a breakthrough. It is almost as if the psyche itself is testing how much truth the conscious mind is ready to receive. You stand before something enormous, your authenticity, your unlived possibilities, your forgotten potential. And because this magnitude overwhelms you, you call it fear. But Jung says that fear is often the emotional echo of something your soul is ready to reclaim. And spiritually, this aligns with every ancient teaching. The Upanishads whisper that the infinite appears terrifying only to the one still clinging to the finite. The Buddha said that the cave you fear to enter contains the very treasure that liberates you. Jung, with his psychological clarity and mystical sensitivity, bridged these truths by explaining that fear is simply the threshold of transformation. Think of a dream in which something chases you. Jung was often asked why such dreams terrify us. His answer was both simple and revolutionary. The moment you turn around, the chase ends. Because the thing pursuing you is not trying to harm you, it is trying to unite with you. It is a part of your own psyche that has been split off, denied, abandoned. Everything you fear is in truth a fragment of your own power waiting to rejoin you. So when you run, you prolong the nightmare. But when you turn, when you face it, when you walk toward the monster with even trembling courage, the monster changes its shape. In many cases, Jung found, the dream figure becomes a guide, a wise old man or woman, a symbol of deeper knowing. Fear transmuted into wisdom the moment the conscious mind stopped resisting it. This is why Jung insisted that individuation, the journey of becoming whole, cannot occur without facing fear. In his 1934 lecture on the shadow, he boldly declared that there is no light without shadow and no wholeness without the courage to face it. In spiritual language, this means that God, the Self, the Infinite, cannot be realized while you are divided inside. Fear is not blocking your path. Fear is the path. It is the door to the very room where your forgotten divinity has been waiting. The prison you think you are in does not actually exist. It is made of projected thoughts, inherited conditioning, the fears of your ancestors, the voices of a culture afraid of its own unconscious depths. But the door is real. And every fear is that door. When you look deeply enough, you see that fear has always been the invitation. Every spiritual master has said this in their own way, but Jung gave it a psychological grounding. You fear your emotions because you fear dissolving into something larger than the person you know yourself to be. You fear silence because silence reveals what your noise has been hiding. You fear intimacy because another person becomes a mirror too clear for your defenses. You fear your dreams because they show you the truth without asking for your permission. But Jung says fear is not pointing toward danger, it is pointing toward expansion. What we resist, he famously said, persists, and what we embrace transforms. Deep down, you already know this. There have been moments, maybe small moments, maybe massive ones, when you walked through fear and discovered freedom on the other side. That first difficult conversation you dreaded, that truth you finally admitted to yourself, that pain you finally allowed yourself to feel, that decision that took you beyond your comfort zone, and afterward, didn't you feel more alive, more real, more rooted in your own being? This is the alchemy Jung spoke of, where consciousness expands each time fear is transmuted into insight. So today, as you listen to these words, imagine once again that dim corridor, that quiet door at the end of it. You have spent years believing that what lies behind it is dangerous. But Jung would place a gentle hand on your shoulder and say, "Go closer. The door is yours. What you fear is part of you. And if you touch the handle, if you push the door open even slightly, you will see that the darkness inside, it is not the darkness of evil. It is the darkness of unrealized light, the darkness before dawn, the darkness before creation, the darkness of a self not yet born into awareness. Every fear is a door. None of them are prisons. And when you walk through them, not with bravado, but with sincerity, you step into the room where the deeper self has always been waiting, patient and luminous, ready to welcome you home. And perhaps the most astonishing thing Jung discovered is that the psyche does not punish you for opening the door. It celebrates you. It reorganizes itself around your new courage. He often described how patients who confronted their deepest fear began to dream differently, think differently, breathe differently. Their inner world shifted. The symbols that once terrified them began to reveal meanings that were healing, almost sacred. He saw over and over again that the human soul is not trying to trap you in your wounds. It is trying to evolve you through them. Fear is the final disguise of growth. When Jung said that the self is both the smallest point and the widest circle, he meant that every step toward what frightens you is also a step toward a larger, more spacious version of yourself. The door that fear becomes is not small, it opens into a cathedral of inner possibilities you never imagined were yours. If you walk far enough through that door, something extraordinary happens. Fear transforms into awe. Jung often hinted at this mystical shift, saying that the closer one gets to the self, the more psychological language becomes inadequate. Fear dissolves into reverence, as if the very force that once made you tremble turns out to be the same force that carries the universe within it. You realize that what you feared was not darkness, but immensity. Not danger, but depth. Not punishment, but awakening. And in that moment, when the inner and outer worlds seem to blend into one seamless reality, you understand why Jung aligned so naturally with the wisdom of ancient mystics. Because the ultimate truth is simple, on the other side of fear lies the encounter with the infinite. The part of you that was never wounded, never afraid, never broken. And as you stand in that vastness, you see clearly that every fear you ever faced was not trying to imprison you. It was guiding you here.
Welcome to Mystic Mind Psychology. If you found this insightful, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.